Today is Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025, and it is also Autism Awareness Month. And it starts today, which means in this month we have to accept of who we are and why we live with autism and how we cope with it, you know? Just to, not feel ashamed of ourselves. It's just who we are. So, in this Games and Trials with Emanuel story talk video, we're going to be talking about my story about how I lived with autism throughout life. Let's get started. So, you guys already know that I was born in February 28th, 2003. And from this point to 2007, my parents didn't really know why I was acting unusual. Because here's the thing, growing up in those 4 years, my parents never understood of why I was doing unusual sounds or staying up all night watching TV. And what they told me before, and this was back in 2020 when they told me all about this. So they told me that I used to repeat the same word all the time, and that was the word TV. But they told me that I said that word in Spanish. So, moving on, my parents wanted to request a neurologist for me because I guess they told my doctor about it, about why I was making all these unusual sounds. Moving forward to 2007, so in 2007, a neurologist was requested from my doctor, I think, and my parents, they were explaining to the neurologist of what was wrong with me and stuff. What the neurologist was saying was, I have Aspergers syndrome. Yeah, Aspergers syndrome. What this really meant was Aspergers is basically autism, but the mild version of it. So, my parents, they started crying about I have autism, and this was going to change their life for them to take care of me. And, life just became different to them. And I can imagine that too, because taking care of a autistic child must be pretty stressful or fun at the same time. And, in this case, my parents knew that they had to make a new move for the rest of their life, which was supposed to be taking very well care of me and getting me some therapy in the future. And then, what else they did, what they told me, was they were going to tell their friends, they were going to tell my aunts, uncles, cousins, and other relatives that we know. And of course as well, my parents did tell my brother as well when he was born that I had autism. And so that we can let them know that I have autism. And what my parents told me is that all of them were all like, okay, oh, that's fine. Oh, I've met some people with that syndrome before. And yeah, so everything, I guess, went well throughout from 2007 and to 2012, as much as I can remember. So growing up with autism, I was for sure an unusual kid because I'd always repeat sounds every time. For example, this can here, Like say if I hear this, I repeat the sound. So let me do it again. Boo. That's what I did all the time as a kid, and I still do it today. So yeah, well, I mean, that's something funny of what I have in today's generation. And then I also used to do like excessive hand flapping, and that's apparently like a STEM thing for autism when you're growing up and stuff. And yeah, that's what I did a lot. Or I'd always do this with my fingers too. Something that I used to do as well when growing up with autism was like, let me just put my chair this way. I used to do this a lot because it used to always help me relax. And whenever I get mad, I tend to do this a lot. So yeah, or I would just put like a blanket over my head and stuff. So yeah, to like help me calm down from when I get mad and stuff. Or, also, what's worse is that I remember having really bad tempers as well. Like, say I have this Hot Wheel here, right? So like when I used to get mad at my parents when they don't take me anywhere, or like, uh, um, or if I get mad when they don't want to do what I want to do, I just have a tantrum and I just like, boom, I just throw it to the wall or something. So, yeah, and, well, those are times that I still kind of look back, and wow. Well, the good thing is I did grow out of it eventually. Though I still tend to still have tantrums in today's generation. Well, it's because, as for us autistic people, we tend to have short fuses, so we have to like really learn how to cope with it. Like what I do when I usually like get mad and stuff, I just use this blanket or any blanket, and I just lay down in my bed during the day with the blanket over my head like this. So that's how I learned how to cope with my bad tempers, tantrums, or whatever. And so, well, yeah, it helps me. And so, um, another thing that I was experiencing when having autism was very loud noises. So, like, if I hear a trumpet over there, or if I hear fireworks exploding, or balloons popping, of course, I'd cover my ears. And that's something that I still struggle with today. Like, for example, like, usually for like every 4th of July, if I'm near fireworks, I have to like put earplugs in because of how loud they are. Or I can't like be outside watching them because of that as well. And it kind of sucks because, well, I mean, it's part of my autism. Just loud noises in general as well. And yeah, well, all that stuff still makes me want to cover my ears and stuff. Or even when I see balloons, I tend to get a little nervous about them too, because they're popping sounds. That's just part of my autism. And well, it was kind of bad. I remember like even going through all the stress too. Like whenever me and my parents or family in general go out for 4th of July to visit family or something for a barbecue, I tended to get nervous all the time because of the loud firework noises. And so yeah. Alright, and then moving on, we're gonna be talking about how I grew up going to school with autism in this next segment. So life going to school with autism was pretty rough for me, I would say, especially for elementary and middle school years. But first, I want to get to elementary. So, in elementary, after being in kindergarten, I was put into, I believe, life skills classrooms because, it's a classroom where, most kids with disabilities would be in and just have a good time. So that's that. And then as I was in second grade to fourth, I was put into regular ed classes. So my parents were making me trying it out. And then, as life was moving on, being in regular ed classes, I had a very hard time making friends. I had a, I had a very hard time raising my hand in class as well. And I would always get picked on as well. So, like, you know, as a quiet person as well, it was also hard for me to catch up on work as well because of how fast teachers would be, taking lessons. And, well, that was just frustrating. And if I'm not mistaken, I probably do get homework. I needed help with that. So as life went on with elementary school years, I was put to do speech therapy for the rest of my school life. And what speech therapy really is where you learn how to communicate with people the right way. Like, for example, um, you have to properly talk with them and with their eyes and stuff and learn how to speak words right. But then that was another thing with my autism. I have a very bad lack of eye contacting a person because I don't know, it's to me when I eye contact a person, I just kind of tend to do this or kind of look around and stuff because I get nervous looking directly at their eyes. So if you guys ever met me, then you'll see what I'm talking about because that's what I still tend to do a lot in today's generation. So yeah, well, however though, the good side of being in school with autism as well was, and this goes for all my school years that I'm going to be talking about, I was a pretty smart kid too. Like, yeah, I might have been a troublemaker one time, but that was it. But though I was really smart, even though I was quiet and stuff, and I also was very well behaved in school as well. Some of the worst elementary school years that I can really think of was third and fourth grade because in both of those years, I was bullied to heck during that time. I remember some kids would always take away my basketball and just throw it to the soccer field or something. Or even try to pop it as well. And then next thing you know is, they also try to take away my backpack that I take to school. I don't have it now, but like I said, they would, next thing you know is try to take away my backpack all the time. And I'd always have to chase them. Now I know, you guys are probably gonna say, well, why didn't you just tell the yard duty or the supervisor or the principal or your teacher? Well, like I said, social anxiety was the thing growing up with autism, so I couldn't really do anything about it. And I just kind of expressed about how I felt like when they'd always bullied me. And then I'd do the same to not tell my parents that I did get bullied in school too. But then things got better in the long run because now 5th grade has started. And let me tell you, 5th grade was the best school year I've ever had in all of my elementary school years. In 5th grade, I was put back to special ed classes. Not for life skills, but just normal special ed classes, like if you have learning disabilities, which was part of my autism as well. I did remember like having so much fun, making friends for once. And we'd all have something in common. And I'm talking about years of 2013 to 2014, since that was my 5th grade year. And speaking of that, which was 11 years ago, we'd all love Angry Birds or a certain TV show, like Regular Show, for example. That's still one of my favorite TV shows. And our favorite mobile game, like I said, was Angry Birds. And we'd all just talk about it too. And not only that, I remember a bunch of us would always bring our Angry Birds plush toys. That was really fun. And that's why I have the Bomb-On plush up there, and there's a green shell behind that Mexican flag. So yeah, that's what kind of brings me back memories. So yeah. Another fun memory I remember back in 5th grade was I got to invite one of my friends to my house to play some Wii. And I remember we played Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing for the Wii. And just had a good time. And also, what I also remember was playing in the swings with my friends. And that's truly a miracle that I'll always remember as a kid. And as well as a 22-year-old as well. So now we're moving on to middle school. Oh boy. So I graduated elementary in 2014, began 6th grade in 2014, August of 2014. So 6th grade was, I would say, boring and pretty stressful as well, because I remember on my first year of middle school, I was getting pretty bullied as well. So in 6th grade, you know how I said I make all these unusual noises? And yeah, that's what I was doing in middle school. Well, for 6th grade especially. And it was kind of hard for me to keep quiet with that. But though I was in special ed classes as well, from 6th to 8th grade, so yeah. But then again, now in 6th grade, it was once again hard to make friends. I did meet, however, my best friend in real life, which you guys already know, Meta Knight Audi. Yeah, I met him in 6th grade. And so we both were friends since we both had a lot in common, and we'd always talk about our elementary school years. And yeah, from that point, we just became friends for the rest of our lives. And, well, he'd also get bullied a lot too. Now, I'm not sure if, my best friend in real life, Meta Knight Audi, has autism or just a learning disability. But all I know is that he might have autism just like me, / Aspergers, because he'd kind of have the same traits as well sometimes. though he was smart. So yeah, and then so from that point, middle school was middle school for sixth grade was pretty hard because I remember I had to be put in some classes that were like regular ed. I think I only had like I took like one class program to where like you do like use computers and we do like this system called Read 180 or System 44. And it's basically where you learn your vocabulary in English. And as you process, as you move on with it, they start getting harder and stuff. But anyways, yeah, that's one class that I did take in middle school, sixth grade, and that was pretty stressful because I remember one of the teachers being really mean. So yeah, and well, just handled it all the way in sixth grade. So now we move on to seventh grade. Um, in seventh grade, yeah, I was doing the same old autistic traits and stuff. Except, things were just a little better. What I really liked about seventh grade was when me and Meta Knight Audi were into these, which are Hot Wheels. And so, um, it was pretty fun. And I didn't really get bullied that much in seventh grade until like when I started liking these, of course. So yeah, well that's obvious because, well, I did used to bring these to school as well. So yeah, well that makes sense. I am gonna get bullied of. I mean, it used to bother me, but then like later on, it was like, who cares? It is what you like. Who cares about what people think of you and stuff? Thoughts like that. So yeah, well, um, yeah, seventh grade was pretty fun. I remember. And so then, now we move on to eighth grade, my last year of middle school. Yeah, eighth grade. It was all right as well. Just maybe not until graduation, since but because of my autism, I tend to like walk past things a lot, and that was the case in my eighth grade graduation. Like, there would be times where I mess up and, like, not even pay attention to what people are saying, to where to go and stuff. And I remember when I walked up on stage in front of, like, hundreds of people, I got a bit nervous to do that. Even though it was just walking on stage holding the diploma. So, but then, like, the cameras are in front of you too. So, like, take your eighth grade pictures as well. And so, like, from that point, I finished middle school officially. And now we move on to high school finally. High school. What I remember was, well, I was still taking speech therapy. Like I said, from elementary to middle school. Yes, I did take it as well in middle school. And I also took it in high school. So, in high school, honestly, things seemed a whole lot better than middle school. Though it was hard. That was especially my freshman year in high school. Because I had to be put in the woodworking class where I just wasn't happy that I got. And so then I did live on going to that class without even changing the class from my counselor. because, like I said, social anxiety was part of my autism, and I couldn't really do anything with it. With it, and well, at least I had other classes that were cool, though. So yeah, and then in some of those classes, I would make friends too. Just maybe not PE because I remember being very antisocial in PE as well. So now that really takes me to 10th grade, my sophomore year in high school. And let me tell you, that was the best high school year and most possibly the best school year of my life. However, it's a tie between sophomore and junior year, but first I want to talk about sophomore year. In sophomore year, I would always hang out with my best friend in Audi as usual. But then we'd hang out with other friends from previous school years. And yeah, well, that's the best part about high school too, is that I never got bullied. I never did. Like, seriously, I never did. I was just happy about that. That's why I say that sophomore year was probably the best school year of my life. And I also had very awesome teachers, very supportive ones too. And from that point, it leads me to my junior year, which, like I said, was one of my best school years for sure as well. Though I do remember in the summer of 2019, that leads me to when I started doing YouTube. Yeah. In the summer of 2019, I started focusing on my YouTube channel because it was an autistic trait that I had. Was, like I said, being creative. So what I wanted to do was start making videos onto YouTube, and that was starting off with some Wii Sports Resort. Well, let me just grab it for you guys. It was starting off with Wii Sports Resort. Yeah. This game has always been with my side ever since. And with the power of my autism, I was just doing continuous videos on this game. And that was so much fun to do. And that's how I got to meet some of you guys, of course. But then here's the sad story about summer 2019. I was taken to the doctor on the last day of summer before starting 11th grade. And I remember having this massive meltdown that I had to go to the doctor the next day. And like I said, part of my autism is having meltdowns. And so what I did was I was so stressed out about going to the doctors because they were going to give me 2 shots right here and 1 shot right here. Oh my god, and I was frightened for sure because I hate needles. And well, that's the case. So on that day, went to the doctors. I got my 3 shots. And yeah, I got them, and I was sore as heck back then. And not only that, I remember the doctor telling me that I need to wear these for school. Why? Because I can't see far enough, okay? So I remember them telling me that, and yeah, I kind of regret not listening to my doctor back then. But anyways, that's not part of the topic. We'll talk about that in another video. Yeah, so, but then junior year honestly became worth it after that last day of summer in 2019. Oh wait, but after the first day or the first 2 days of my junior year in high school in 2019, I had to go back to the doctors again, and this time it was for, that blood work thing where they put the needle inside your arm here. And I was just so mad in those 2 days, I remember. But that was because the doctors were telling me that I had to do that after I got those 3 shots. So, yeah, and so, my first 2 days of junior year were fun, but then like I said, my autism just couldn't handle those needles, especially those ones that go right here. Those ones are those literally scare me and they make me want to just vomit after I get them and stuff. And so, I got that shot the day after the first 2 days of my junior year. And I got that shot, and after I got that, that needle inside my arm, I literally was just feeling pale that whole day until like the end of the day. Ugh, that's just something that I struggle with needles as part of my autism as well. Like I said, I never liked needles. But here's the thing why junior year was so much fun. Because, well, there was just so much fun memories. I remember like in Christmas time, I'd always have that feeling that it's gonna be good. Remember we decorated that door? And part of my autism really liked it too. So, yeah. And, well, now that I think about it, now it's the final part of junior year, which was the COVID. Yeah. Now we're going back to March 13th, 2020 again. And so now from that point, COVID was taken over. And now my autism got really bad. Like it seriously did. Meltdowns for 1, 2, I began to stim a lot more to relieve stress from this horrible crisis. And then 3, oh my gosh, I was so impatient. I was going crazy. Just being locked up inside my house for a number of days. And which led me to more bad tempers, I remember. And so, yeah, now from that point is when I was talking to my parents about because I was talking about that, you know, about other disabilities that people have, which were Down syndrome, cerebral palsy. I'm not sure how you pronounce that last word. And some other ones. Nonverbal. Yeah, that one too. And so, yeah, we were talking about that with my parents and my brother as well. And that's when they told me, Emanuel, you have autism. Yeah, I realized it. In 2020, I officially realized that I have autism for the first time. And that was when my parents told me that I was diagnosed with it in 2007 at the age of 4 years old. And yeah, well, that's how I learned that I have autism. It's because of the pandemic. Because we were stuck with our families. So, I mean, that was also a good thing. But yeah, I was shocked to believe that I had autism. But what they did tell me, I had little autism, which is basically Aspergers. And from that point, I started learning about autism. I started watching videos about it and stuff. And I finally understood who I really am. Now I knew why I was always covering my ears, getting mad really easily, and having these weird hand flapping moves or rock moves as well. and it's because of autism. Yeah. So, now we get into the conclusion of the story. And so now, finally, we are in the conclusion of this video. I'm sorry if it was a long story, but I'm pretty sure for some of you, this will be interesting to, watch and to listen and think about your autism. Which brings, now we're going to get into my personal pros and cons about autism. My pros about autism are I have a bunch of creativity in my life. I love a lot of things. For example, I love Hot Wheels, stickers, video games, Mii's, of course, Legos. I used to be a Pokemon fan back at the time, but not anymore. Music, and of course, my YouTube channel. Yeah, so that's that. And then also, I really like how I'm really nice to some people as well. Certain people, if I get along with them, of course. And finally, I am a very behaved, well person in school. And now we get into my cons of autism. The cons for me in autism is I'm less likely to accomplish hard things, like for example getting a driver's license, because at the age of 22 I still don't have a driver's license, which is sad. And I know some people already started driving at the age of like 17, 18, etc., and getting their driver's license. And that's still something that really bothers me, because I tend to struggle with my autism. And that brings me to my second con, and that is, having a hard time to accept of who I am. It was just really hard. Like, I would have to say, in most of my life, I kind of had rough times during life with autism, because of all the stuff that I went through. Like, it was hell, man. Like, it was not funny, and it was not funny. It was not meant to happen. And I tend to cry about why I have autism and stuff, because sometimes I just have a hard time accepting of who I am. And that's why I still kind of cry about it in bed, or, after a long, stressful day. Yeah, I just don't like that feeling, because, sometimes I just have to learn more about autism. And I sometimes have to learn more about what life really is. And so, yeah. And then, now for my final con about autism, I would have to say is, like, you just wish you never had it, because you get scared of things. Like I said, fireworks, balloons, gas sounds, like the steam sounds and stuff like that. It really bothers the hell out of me. And yeah. And that's my real nightmare of autism. Oh, and can't forget the bullying part. Yeah. The bullying part was something that people never understood what I had and stuff. Which of course was their fault, because, they never even learned how to like be nice to certain people who have like these type of disabilities and stuff like that. And so yeah, well everybody, now it's time for all of you guys to do me a favor. If you're on the autism spectrum side, please, 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 I beg you to accept who you are, love yourself. I love you guys. I hope you love me back of what we all have, because autism can be a real pain in life sometimes. I get it. Like I said, we all cry about it, of why we have it after a long, stressful day from school, work, or whatever. You know, it's just something that, you know, we just all have to accept. Because you gotta remember that we have our interests as well. Like, if I never had autism, I would have not even had this YouTube channel. And that's the problem, because I'm so creative in my life, and you guys are as well. Like, every time you guys upload something very interesting or post something interesting on any social media, I always give you guys the best 100% comments, because I love understanding of what you like, what you guys love. And I want to love that stuff as well, just like you guys. So yeah, just accept who you really are if you're on the autism spectrum side. Just please, I beg you. It's probably the biggest favor that you would do for me, and it's the biggest favor that I would do for you guys. And also, please, remember also, your parents also love you who you are. They love that you're autistic because you're creative and stuff. So yeah, like, just please thank them for everything. You know, like, always at the end of the day, at least try. So yeah, bringing some motivation to you guys is also my favorite thing to do, because I love you all, and I know you all love me back, because we're all like a family in this channel and YouTube community. So yeah, alright everybody, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this awesome storytime video. Again, sorry if it was too long, but yeah, it's just a story that I've always wanted to bring up ever since this day was coming. And yeah, just remember guys, love yourself. Always thank your parents for having you as their child, and just believe in yourself, keep accomplishing your goals, and then number 4, last but not least, never give up in life, okay? And I'm going to be doing the same as well. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this awesome video, storytime video, and peace out.